I'm Dr. Ryan, a veterinarian and a veterinary behavior specialist. I really want to thank you because many of the videos that I'm making now are based on suggestions from you. And today's video is not different. I was asked to review a video by Hamilton Dog Training. I'm actually reviewing not the video that they asked me to review just because that specific one was pretty long and it was just an explainer video, so I thought it was going to be a little bit boring to review someone else that's just talking because I'm doing all the talking. It's enough that I'm boring you. This video, I think, is going to be much more interesting, so let's dive in.
In this video, I'm going to give you 3 mistakes that I see dog owners make when they're playing tug with their dogs. We're going to cover the mistake, then I'm going to give you the solution to each one.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting topic, not just for behavioral reasons, but also for medical reasons. Because should you play with your dog tag, and how should you play with your dog in a safe way?
So, the first mistake that people make when playing tug is they do this. And they think this is part of the game.
Yeah, I actually see a lot of people that play tag with their dog that way. And there are 2 issues with this way. One is that when dogs are playing tag with each other, they're actually not doing that motion. They're not doing the up and down motion, but they will shake it from side to side or kind of like twist it from side to side. It's similar to grabbing on a prey and then trying to break its neck or something. The second thing that I would like to mention, because it does make me feel a little bit, I don't know, uncomfortable or even concerned, is the strength of the pulling. I understand that dogs will pull really hard and it comes naturally to them. But it doesn't mean that everything that a dog is doing is the right thing for the dog to do. Kind of like the fact that a dog is eating grass doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing for the dog. And my biggest concern is that it can actually cause some damage to the teeth and even damage to the neck. Yes, dogs have very strong teeth. But I'm pretty sure that if you had a dog that lived to be a bit older, let's say more than 5-6 years old, then you know that at some point they start losing teeth, especially if you're not brushing their teeth on a daily basis. And then if you start also pulling on them, it can break them. Of course, quality of life also matters. So I do like seeing dogs enjoying life.
This is not part of the game. Tug is a possession game between you and the dog. You're fighting to see who can win possession of the toy.
FYI, I don't think that when he's saying you're fighting to see who's gonna win the possession, I don't think he's talking about like being the alpha or any of those BS that sadly other trainers are saying. I think he just means that in this specific game, these are the rules, even if it was between 2 dogs. So it's not a dominant thing and it's okay to let the dog win. Actually, you should probably let the dog win from time to time, because if you don't, then they might lose interest in this type of play.
So, it's not about the movement that you do. It's about it's about the effort that each party is making to win possession from the other party.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, and yes, it is about the possession. It's a good thing that dogs don't keep count of who won how many times. Again, I will say that I do have a bit of concern when you pull on it too hard, you can actually cause some damage. And the fact that the dog is not actually telling you that it's hurting, or you might not see bleeding right away or anything like that, doesn't mean that it might not injure the dog's teeth. So just be aware.
So instead of just moving the dog's head up and down like this is not how dogs play tug with each other. You want to get down on their level so that it's parallel like this. and you want to take turns competing for the toy.
Yeah, I agree. You should try to make it as close to how dogs play to reduce chances of any health issues. And because the more they know the rules, because it's more natural to them, they're also going to enjoy it much more.
Now, there are many ways you can do this. You can see here I'm making constant tension on the toy. There is always pressure on this toy here. You can do things to try to win it from him, and he'll do things to try to win it from me. We can play tricks with each other. So here, see this tension? What if I pretend to be tired?
It's really interesting that he's pretending to be tired and the dog is kind of like letting go. Well, actually, not letting go, just maybe not pulling too hard, but not letting go of the toy. I think the reason is that this dog already knows that the owner or the trainer might actually try and fool him and will do just this part. I don't know if you noticed, but he did say that he will do all kinds of things like blowing on the dog's face, and you saw at the beginning that he would kind of like step or touch his foot and maybe kind of touch the side of his body, trying to maybe distract the dog a little bit to add something more to the game. And this is not really natural. I mean, that's not like how two dogs will play. In most cases, completely benign. No issues to do things like that. It might actually make the dog more stimulated and will make him happier when playing. But it's not the same for all dogs. In some cases, it might actually annoy the dog and would make it more likely that the dog will go from playing to actually becoming, in a way, resource guarding. So try and read your dog's body language. Now it's tricky, especially when you play like this, because, and let's see if we can see the dog doing it right now. Yes, I mean, look at the dog, right? You see him very straight, his neck is down because that's where the toy is. His lips are pretty tight because he's grabbing around the toy, and his ears are tucked down and to the back. And even when you'll see how his tail is moving, it's not one of those happy tail moves. It's not that the entire butt is moving with the tail and maybe kind of like in a figure eight. It goes from side to side, and that is something that they might do when they're excited or when they're like thinking of what to do next, and sometimes even when they're stressed. It's definitely not the case here. All of these things are just because the dog is very engaged in the game. But what I'm trying to say is that trying to read the dog's body language at this situation is a bit tricky, because if you didn't know anything about dogs and you only were looking for signs of aggression, some people might say, look, he's aggressive, his ears are down, his back is straight. So open your eyes, learn your own dog's body language, and make sure there are no other things.
Trying to catch him off guard. He really likes that. It gives him a chance to
look at the tail.
Show off how strong those grips are. Those are some super strong grips, buddy. Yeah. What if I...
Yeah, it's a pretty strong dog. You can see how he's already out of breath. But he's also talking at the same time, so that can make you very tired. I mean, I'm already tired just by watching and talking.
Pretend to be tired a little bit. Pretend to be tired.
Didn't work.
What if I get his feet? Oof. Go ahead. Nice job, man. And he wins it there. Nice job, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, allow me to zoom in because I actually also want to see what he wrote here instead of allowing him to run away. So he wrote that he gave the dog the option to basically take the toy. and wrote that instead of allowing him to run away or destroy the toy, I invite him over to me and I allow him to keep possession of the toy while we hang out together. And that's great because many times if you do start chasing the dog, he might want to destroy the toy, or he might actually find that as a part of the game and start running away. And let's say you need to go home and the dog is running away from you because he still wants to play. It's going to make things a bit harder. So by actually allowing the dog to come back to you and then initiating the game again, you're making sure that you have a good recall in that situation.
Nice job. So when you're playing tug with the dog, it's less about the movement that you're doing with your hand, and it's more about the competition that's occurring between you and them. Who's trying to win the toy from who? What are you doing to try to win it from them? What are they doing to try to win it from you? The second mistake that I see people make when playing tug with their dog is not matching their dog's skill level. So tug is a competitive game between you and the dog.
Yeah, exactly as I said, you need to learn what works best for your dog. It's not the same for different dogs.
You versus them. Think about it like tennis. It's a competitive game, player versus player. Imagine if you were playing against Roger Federer or something. You just get annihilated, he annihilates you, and it's not fun for either party because there's such a large skill discrepancy there. So you want to be conscious of that when you're playing with a dog. You want to match them at their level and just barely one-up them. Encourage them to just bring a little bit more to the table.
Yeah, that's right. It's very similar to playing with games. You know, when the child is very, 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 very young, usually parents will let them win every time because they know that they're going to get frustrated like really fast and then they wouldn't want to start playing with you at all. But as they grow older, then you start weaning from time to time to actually maybe even teach them that you can't always win everything in life.
And when they match that, you encourage them to bring just a little bit more and a little bit more. This is really important, especially if you have a dog who maybe is a bit underdeveloped in the tug, just learning how to do this, not very confident in their grips, doesn't really like biting down hard. If you come in and just start ripping the toy out of, like, this is way too extreme, right? You're going to turn the dog off to the play entirely. And vice versa. If you have a dog who is very committed, really wants to win possession of that toy, and you're just like so lame and boring, it just loses all the fun of the game. And so you want to be conscious of that and meet your dog where they are.
Yeah, so the bottom line is know your dog.
A tip I have for you, if you have a dog who maybe you need to come down a bit to match their skill level, is to handicap yourself. So if your toy you're playing with has like a handle on it, instead of looping your hand through like this, like there's no way they're going to win this, obviously, right? You can handicap yourself by maybe just having 2 fingers on the toy, right? 2 fingers on the toy, and if they win it, they actually win it.
That's actually a great idea. Again, we want them to win. They don't really care if we're faking it or not, but they do feel the difference even in the tension itself. Another thing that I think is worth mentioning is that if it's a big dog, and sometimes even with a small dog, you need to be conscientious. 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 You need to be aware of how you're holding it so you don't get injured. Because if the dog all of a sudden pulls or twists it in a way that you're not ready for, it can actually cause damage to your hand as well.
Then you can graduate to maybe having your hand on it like this, and then eventually having just a finger on it like this, and then you can have your whole hand on it like that, right? And so just an easy way to keep the game fair, right? In the same way how, like, if you were playing chess with someone who is far superior to you, they might handicap themselves by removing certain pieces off the board, right? Just to make the game more equal. Now, the third mistake people make when playing tug with their dog is letting them win. A lot of trainers tell you, let them win, let them win, let them win. And people let their dog win at all of the wrong times.
Let's see what he's gonna say, because I actually also think that you need to let them win. I don't mean let them win every single time, but I do mean let them win from time to time, because if you don't, not true for maybe all dogs, but many dogs, if you don't let them win ever, they're gonna get frustrated and they might not want to play with you anymore.
So let me give you an example. So here we're in the middle of playing tug. I'm trying to win possession from him. He's trying to win it from me. Now imagine if I just, oh, you won. What happened there? I just randomly let go of the toy. So here we're in the middle of playing tug, and I just, oh, you won.
Let's see what happens next, because right now it doesn't seem like it's bothering the dog too much. The dog just knows that I didn't really win. He just let it go, and that's why he's staying next to him and even looking at him, waiting for him to grab it again.
What are you doing there? You are just letting go of the toy. And what you're teaching the dog there is to just hang on. Just hang on to the toy. And eventually, the handler will release it. So the dog just learns they have to hold. That is not what we want. We want the dog to fight for possession of the toy. We want it to fight to win it from us. We want to put him an effort. We want him to try.
Right now, it doesn't seem like the dog is actually trying too much. It still looks like he's mainly holding it, and rarely maybe is tugging back or kind of like shaking. But that might also be because we're further down this training session or play session and the dog is just tired.
So here, I'm not going to release it here. Oof. Oof. Oof.
So here, now the dog is trying.
Hey, nice job, man. And I let him win when he's making that genuine effort.
I'm not completely sure about this third one, because in the end he did let him win. So, and the dog stayed next to him exactly like he did when he just let it go. But I do agree that as far as enrichment goes and as far as what the dog is probably feeling, it's better to kind of like let it go only when the dog was pulling on it and not just randomly.
What people do is combine this with the first mistake. So they go like this, right? Move the dog like this, and then they go like this. Oh, right? What are you teaching the dog there? You're teaching the dog that all they have to do to win the toy is just hang on to it passively. And then
I like how motivated both of his dogs are and how much they do like this game.
eventually you'll reward them, right? That is like literally the exact opposite of what we want. Remember, this is a possession game. You're trying to win possession from the dog. And so you want to be mindful of that and only reward moments when the dog makes an effort to win possession from you.
I'm sorry, it still makes me cringe every time that he tags on it. But maybe it's because I'm a veterinarian and I see a lot of these fractured teeth or broken teeth because of playing.
Hopefully these 3 tips help you out. Go outside and play with your dog.
Yes, good advice. Go and do that. But before you go and do that, if you can like and subscribe to the channel, it really helps teach YouTube that people like you would also want to see this video or other videos that I made. If there is another channel or if there is another trainer that you would like me to review, please write it down in the comments below. Don't write links, as many times YouTube will delete links, so just write the name of the channel and the name of the video. And in the meanwhile, why not watch this video next?